One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on Zanis News. My name is Juliet Mtele, and our signs language interpreter is Imelda Mulea. Top stories in the news tonight. Information Minister says government is committed to supporting public service workers. Solar plants to be installed across the country to boost energy sector. Secretary to the Cabinet calls for effective leadership in implementing decentralization policy. Plus, Ministry of Health records drop in routine child immunization. Zanis News in detail. Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Mutras, says government is committed to supporting its personnel through training. Mr. Mutras says this is because government wants to improve public service delivery to the people at all levels. The minister said this in Chongo District when he graced the 5-day training workshop for 50 Zanis News and Information Services staffer drawn from all the 10 provinces in the country. More in this report by Kashweka Sakaimbo.
The media is the fourth estate of any government, as it is powerful and can be used to influence people's perceptions and beliefs through effective networking and engagements. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Information and Media has launched a 5-day Zanis media training aimed at capacity building of staff in problem-solving skills and the latest trends in technology. Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mutras officiated at the launch and pledged government's continued support towards staff development.
Make a good case that when the budget for 2025 is announced, there must be a difference in the way this ministry, in the way Zanis is funded. This opportunity to remind you, dear colleagues, and through you, the entire media spectrum, that the media, journalists, you hold the power to shape a nation. You hold the power to unite or divide a country such as ours. What you write as media, what you disseminate as information, informs the choices that our people make. So let us be ambassadors of goodwill as media. As fourth estate, we must play our good role.
Zanis Director Lois Saili commended district staff for their commitment to duty despite the various challenges that they encounter in executing their duties.
The department requires a lot of support in a number of areas. One of the biggest challenges we have, Honorable Minister, is one of transport. All our district offices do not have vehicles. We require basic tools such as cameras, computers, laptops, public address systems for community mobilization and sensitization. Despite these challenges, Honorable Minister PS, we have witnessed extraordinary dedication and commitment by our officers. A number of them go out of their way to use personal tools and resources to go out into the field to gather stories and send them to us for the benefit of the people of this country.
Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana also attended the event.
These topics are vital in building the capacity of our DIOs, enabling them to deliver high-quality professional content that meets the expectations of our audience and supports our mission of informing, educating, and entertaining the public.
The training has attracted about 50 district staff drawn from all the 10 provinces of the country. Kashweka Sakaimbo reporting, Lusaka.
Now, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Mwimbu, has emphasized that government will continue to respect democracy and uphold the rule of law. The minister assured that government will continue to allow all stakeholders, including the opposition political parties, to enjoy their democratic space, considering safety measures put in place. Mr. Mwimbu has since appealed to opposition political party leaders to refrain from making inflammatory statements to avoid causing anarchy in the country. The minister further called on the church to help encourage political parties to speak messages that will promote peace and unity among the citizenry. and the country as a whole. Mr. Mwimbu made these remarks during a press briefing held in Lusaka today. The minister noted that the shortages of electricity currently being faced in the country are not as a result of failures by government, but that they are caused by the effects of climate change. Mr. Mwimbu said government has, for the past 2 years, been striving to ensure that alternative sources of energy in the country are found. President Hakainde Hichilema is tomorrow, June 25th, 2024, expected in Livingstone District of Southern Province for the official opening of the 24th Annual General Meeting of the African Trade Insurance Agency. Southern Province Minister Credo Nanjua confirmed the development to Zanis in an interview, stating that the president will arrive in Livingstone in the afternoon. Mr. Nanjua disclosed that the ATDI meeting will take place on Wednesday, 2024. He said the president is expected to give a keynote speech at the event that will be attended by ministers of finance drawn from across the region, including Zambia's finance minister Stumbeko Musokotwani, who is the host. Mr. Nanjua also stated that Dr. Musokotwani is expected to lead the program. He said President Hichilema is expected to return to Lusaka on Thursday, June 27th.
Yes, we can confirm that His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, will be in the province tomorrow afternoon. And as you can see, there is a hive of activities here in the Southern Province and particularly in Livingstone. The President is coming tomorrow to the main event time. He's arriving at 14, slightly after 14 hours. He will be in Livingstone. Then the President tomorrow, he will do some light works in the district. But the main event that the President is coming for is after tomorrow, where the Ministers of Finance are having a meeting here in Southern Province from the region. So that's where the President will be going to grace that occasion. He will be in the province from tomorrow and you only leave on Wednesday. So basically, he's coming for that main event of Ministers of Finance, which the Honorable Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwani, will be around and as the main host minister to lead the whole program. So suffice to say that yes, His Excellency will be expected to arrive tomorrow at 14 hours at Harimwanga Nkumbula Airport and proceed with the programs. Well, in the district, what we're expecting is that as provincial administration, what we are looking at is most of these international events that takes place here in Livingstone or Southern Province. Our expectation is actually from the deliberations, how does that meeting benefit us and also how it benefits the country from those discussions. So we are expectant and we are available to attend that meeting and see what will be the outcome and how do we benefit out of those events that the President is coming for.
Now, government is set to install solar plants across the country to boost the energy sector. Speaking at a press briefing in Ndola Copperbelt, Province Minister Elisha Matambo disclosed that Mamba Collieries Limited is one of the companies that is set to produce 300 megawatts of electricity to cushion the 800 megawatts power deficit being experienced in the country. Details in this report.
In a quest to resolve the power deficit and manage load shedding hours, government is set to install solar plants around the country. Speaking in a press briefing at cabinet offices in Ndola, Copperbelt Province Minister has assured the residents of government's commitment to restore power.
We will have solar plants all over the country. All over the country. That's why you have seen him moving up and down. So that whether we have rain or we don't have rent, we will still have power. We are trying to put Mamba corridors again to start producing 300 megawatts. What is the deficit? It's about 800 megawatts. Achama mine, limbiena yale wofia, ama laita ya kalafuma 105 megawatts kalafuma pandola energy pada ukuya kumine. Then Bazesko what they withdraw, ila equivalent figure iye kumbi so that ngatwasa abula yale turechita recall. Tuabula nadia alefuma kukopa belt dollar energy. Nayambi, as we are sorting out, we may, as we move on, we may end up reducing the hours of load shedding.
The minister also disclosed that the president has already recalled part of the power that is being exported.
He has decided also to recall 100 megawatts. I think it will even be more as we move. But President Nshibashire Monafia, if you have benefit drought, feel to step import power from somewhere. To import power from Mozambique, to connection near grid. Wanted to buy power from there to compensate what we have, the deficit we have. To asaga to Shen Congole, PF. Just like Flavashire and Congole, Kuli fuel. They left $900 million in Congolesha fuel, which this president is paying.
The minister has since expressed displeasure that members of the United Kwacha Alliance are using a natural disaster to turn the people on the Copper Belt against government.
Na conscious, conscious. I don't expect them to be speaking the way they were speaking. So it is shameful for a person like my brother Kalaba and the former president to capitalize on something which is a natural calamity. And they have seen that their friend, the current president, is trying his best to sort out this issue once and for all.
Government is committed to supplying the people on the Copper Belt with electricity through the recent reopening of Ndola Energy. Jacqueline Moba, Zanis in Ndola.
Meanwhile, Minister of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata is impressed with the initiative by St. Francis Central Hospital in Katete District of Eastern Province to extend its existing solar power plant in providing alternative sources of energy amidst the power crisis. Speaking when he toured the facility, Mr. Kapata said the effort was commendable as the institution has demonstrated its spirit of resourcefulness amidst a crisis that has adversely affected the nation. Here are the details.
Amidst the power deficit that the country is experiencing due to the prolonged dry spell, St. Francis Central Hospital has sought to supplement its power requirements by installing alternative source of electricity. The hospital, which has some equipment already running on solar power, has plans of expanding the solar plant to accommodate more equipment. The expansion is aimed at enhancing effective delivery of healthcare services to its patients.
We are trying to expand this to at least another 100 by 100 meters, so that in the next 1 year we want to be at least 80% of the supply.
The supply from the solar. Yeah. Okay.
This is just some of the response to the demand. We are aware of the challenges.
The challenges.
Power.
Yeah.
So even as the president and the government is doing something, we're also trying to respond in our small way in terms of trying to ensure that there is sufficient power supply to the hospital.
Okay. The institution also highlighted some of the strides it is making through the support from government and its partners.
The hospital has been supported through the acquisition of medical equipment. We benefited from the delivery of the patient monitors, the ventilators. These were all supported by government. Apart from that, I think through our partners, we have received the CT scan, which should be operational very soon.
Touring the facility, Minister of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata was impressed by the institution's innovativeness.
What
leadership, energy that you have provided, especially for critical installations such as the oxygen plant. That in itself suggests that you are ahead and you are supporting government. The idea is not to complain, but to give concerns to government that we are a sensitive institution, we would like to be exempted. But here is what we are doing as an institution. We have provided an alternative solar panels to cushion the deficit so that the oxygen plant can continue running.
Hope Walia, Katete District, Eastern Province.
Thank you, Hope, for that report. We now take a break. Stay tuned.
How I Made It is a program that delves into the many success stories of different people from all walks of life. Watch How I Made It on Zanis TV every Thursday at 18:30 hours on the Topstar channel, Channel 6 DTT, and Channel 458 DTH. Zambia Today is a program that keeps you informed on various government policies and programs. Join us every Tuesday at 18 hours on Zanis TV, Topstar platform, Channel 6 DTT, and 458 DTH. Don't miss.
Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa has called for effective leadership in the implementation of the decentralization policy. Mr. Kangwa says effective leadership is key in enhancing delivery of public services and promoting citizen participation in local economic development. He said this in a speech read for him by the head of the Presidential Delivery Unit, Kusobile Kamwambi, during the official opening of the leadership training for provincial and district government officials in Eastern Province. Lakson Makodza now reports.
The leadership training for provincial and district government officials has opened in Eastern Province with a call for effective leadership in the implementation of the decentralization policy. The high-level meeting was officially opened by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, who was represented by the head of the Presidential Delivery Unit. Mr. Kangwa indicated that the training workshop is aimed at equipping officers with knowledge and skills necessary in the implementation of decentralization.
Evolution entails more responsibilities and resources have now been transferred to the subnational level. It is therefore critical to ensure that you are sensitized and equipped with the necessary tools, knowledge and information for you to effectively carry out this mandate. Effective leadership at the provincial and district levels is critical in shaping the inclusive and sustainable development of our country. Today, we come together to sharpen our skills, broaden our perspectives, and ignite the spark of impactful leadership within each of us for improved coordination of the programs in Eastern Province.
The commitment demonstrated by government in actualizing decentralization as he elated Eastern Province.
Is committed to decentralize its operations. I think this is the first step where we are aware that at least five functions have kind of been devolved. I am coming from one of those functions that have been involved, coming from the health sector. Others being sports, the archives, the vet, as well as cultural affairs.
In a vote of thanks, Chipata Mayor George Mwanza said the training workshop has come at an opportune time when the implementation of decentralization is in full swing.
This district transformative leadership training should not only enhance our collaboration amongst ourselves as grassroots leaders, but should also give us the motivation and morale to drive devolution at the grassroots level as the only vehicle to transform the lives of our people.
The 5 days training workshop has brought together mayors, council chairpersons, town clerks, council secretaries, and district commissioners in Eastern Province. For Zanis, in Chipata, Eastern Province, I'm Lakson Makodza.
We move back to the Copperbelt Province. Provincial Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo has disclosed that government has reintroduced mandatory examination for public service workers. Mr. Kasongo explains that the examinations will be undertaken upon entry into public service for career progression and enhancement of adherence to competence in the civil service. He said this yesterday during the Africa Public Service Day commemoration in Ndola District. Here are the details.
Public service workers from diverse departments have gathered to celebrate African Public Service Day at Civic Center in Ndola District. Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary has emphasized the need for civil servants to undergo training.
In line with the theme for this year's Africa Service Day, government is committed to promote innovation in the public service. In this regard, a number of officers are being trained in various leadership and management programs. Officers in the province have participated in national training programs such as strategic management, economic governance, public-private partnership, public procurement, and digital literacy. It is expected that these training programs will increase the number of critical thinkers, problem solvers, and lifelong learners in the public service. I'm pleased to inform you that government has made a lot of progress in introducing mandatory examinations for public service workers. The examinations will be undertaken upon entry into the public service for career progression.
Trade union representative highlights the significant role trade unions play in the public service workers' lives.
A trade union is committed to promoting and protecting workers' rights and interests. Trade unions do not just promote social and economic justice, but also encouraging collective bargaining and negotiations. Trade unions provide education and training for the workers and encourage them to effectively participate in decision-making processes.
Ndola District Commissioner has since called on civil servants to rally behind the president.
Allow me to thank the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for bringing peace in this country. I think where there's peace, you can see there's progress. As civil service, or civil servants, I think this is our first time that we are working in a good environment where we are not being intimidated by any kind at all. As civil servants, we never knew when we were going to be paid. But this time around, you are assured of getting your salary. You are able to budget properly. It is because of the visionary leadership of the President of the Republic of Zambia. After visiting all these times, I've seen that we are really doing the actual works that we are supposed to do. But in terms of time management, I think we are still behind.
The African Public Service Day is celebrated under the theme Empowering a Citizen-Centric Public Service for an Inclusive and Thriving 21st Century Africa, a journey of lifelong learning and technological transformation. Jacqueline Moba, Zanis, in Ndola.
Now, the Ministry of Health has reported a decline in the routine child immunizations over the past 2 years. Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, says the decline has led to outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases such as polio and measles. Mrs. Masebo said this during the launch of the 2024 first round of Child Health Week under the theme Reaching All Children for a Healthy Population. She said the Child Health Week will provide services which include vitamin A supplementation, deworming, and catch-up vaccinations for children under 18 months who missed scheduled immunizations, weight and height monitoring, early infant diagnosis and treatment of HIV, among others. Mrs. Masebo has since called on healthcare providers to intensify their efforts to reach every child, particularly those who are in remote areas. Meanwhile, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Donor Coordination, George Sinyangwe, says the country is recording an increase in measles cases in Chilubi, Mwinlunga, and Chavuma districts. Mr. Sinyangwe said the ministry is constantly monitoring the situation, adding that this justifies the need for immunization.
The country has recorded a decline in the demand and utilization of routine childhood immunization in the last 2 years due to first COVID-19, then cholera, now droughts. This gap in immunization coverage has resulted in the recently reported threats and outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases, such again as polio and measles. To reach all the unvaccinated children who have missed their routine immunization sessions and vitamin A supplementation, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with our cooperating partners, conducts Child Health Week activities in all health facilities throughout the country, targeting all children from zero to 59 months. It is therefore important that all healthcare providers countrywide work extra hard in order to reach all the children in all corners of this great nation without leaving any child behind. I want to use this opportunity to make an earnest appeal to our community leaders, especially councillors, members of parliament, traditional, religious, and civic leaders from all levels below the district up to the community level to participate in mobilizing their people to access Child Health Week services.
Immunizing children around the geographies that are actually witnessing measles. And in addition to that, we are contemplating, because every year also in routine immunization we do campaigns, we are contemplating bringing these campaigns or this campaign forward so that we cover from many more anticipated problems. And in addition to that, like I said, we are monitoring the situation, we are looking at data, we are doing the surveillance, and yeah, I could just say we are on top of things.
We now move to Western Province. Provincial Permanent Secretary Simomo Akapelwa says scaling up nutrition in children below the age of 2 is key to eliminating malnutrition in all its forms. Mr. Akapelwa says the implementation of the program in the province and in North-Western Province under the National Food and Nutrition Commission, supported by cooperating partners, has recorded remarkable results and has reached its final year of funding. We have more in this report by Stella Goma.
These are some of the beneficiaries of the Scaling Up Nutrition Sun 2 program from Western and Northwestern provinces who have been empowered to rise and contribute to end stunting in children below 2 years. Government and its cooperating partners have been implementing the Sun 2 program since 2021.
zofumana mwatenikiri kamani miyape kusasi kamani wa miliyaruna kuna kuilitumbe na luka katengoka kupakuli pili ingile twaikala nakacho kafikira mukasa kwa shaku mibiti ya baine tubajipa bukuru bana babacheche maanda 5 kaijine bakamwale ababena kukoma tubamba baikala nakacho kakuvula mbiji mwali twasanta kubamba mtwajile kwitu kwasha so that tukwashe ntandaye tukuyaparutwe kujima bintu byavula kaijine kujima business busulu wa kujima no business kechupela tupalujani twasanta mwani.
Western Province Permanent Secretary has commended the impact of the Sun 2 program during a review meeting held with implementers from 2 provinces and supporting partners in Solwezi as funding comes to a close this year.
The Sun 2 program has made remarkable strides. We have witnessed sustained improvement in optimal nutrition behaviors among adolescents, pregnant women, mothers and caregivers of children under 2. I wish to also acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of our national and sub-national government leadership, the technical support from the UN agencies, and the on-ground efforts of NGOs. Our partners merely come to support us and add on to our efforts. So it's for us here to make sure that these programs are sustainable and continue.
Meanwhile, one of the cooperating partners, Save the Children, based in Mongu, has emphasized that nutrition within the first 1,000 days of life is vital.
Once we take care of this period, we lay a strong foundation for productive adults. The fight against malnutrition requires concerted efforts.
Stella Goma reporting for Zanis in Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
We now take our second break. Coming up is the agriculture news.
Zambia Today is a program that keeps you informed on various government policies and programs. Join us every Tuesday at 18 hours on Zanis TV, Topstar platform, channel 6 DTT and 458 DTH. Don't miss.
The Issue is a program that looks at topical issues happening in the country. Watch The Issue every Friday at 19:30 hours, only on Zanis TV, channel 6 DTT and channel 458 DTH on Topstar. Don't miss.
Lusaka Province Minister Shio Muliata says government, with support from various stakeholders, is committed to uplifting the welfare of the vulnerable in society. Speaking in Rufunsa when she handed over 120 blankets and 200 packs of meat donated by the Muslim Social and Welfare Trust, with support from Hassan International, a faith-based organization from Turkey and Germany, Mrs. Muliata thanked the organization for supplementing government efforts to empower the less privileged. Here are the details.
Muslim Social and Welfare Trust, with support from Hassan International faith-based organizations in Turkey and Germany, have donated 200 meat packs and 120 blankets to the vulnerable and elderly people in Sinjela area of Rufunsa district. The Lusaka Province Minister Shio Muliata says the government, with support from various stakeholders, is committed to uplifting the welfare of the vulnerable in society. Ms. Muliata commended the organization for continuing to supplement the government's efforts to empower the less privileged in society.
To appreciate that they are doing that for mankind. As a member of parliament for Rufunsa, I am grateful. As you can see, the people are excited, the people are giving thanks, they feel they needed that. Together with what they are doing, our government, the new Dawn government, has still gone out to bring relief food to our people. Our brothers here, the Muslim brothers, are supplementing government efforts.
And Muslim Social and Welfare Trust Coordinator said his organization is committed to working with the government.
In Rufunsa district, and we have seen hundreds of people have benefited from this meat. Together with that Muslim Social and Welfare Trust, this time of the year, we distribute blankets to keep our elderly people warm in this cold season. So we have also distributed blankets as well. So we thank the Honorable Minister for guiding us and bringing us to this vulnerable area so that these vulnerable can benefit.
And some Sinjela residents have thanked the government and the Muslim Social and Welfare Trust for the gesture.
Sikongo Member of Parliament Frank Mayungo has encouraged President Hakainde Hichilema to remain focused on his vision of improving the country's agriculture sector. In an interview with Zanis in Lusaka, Mr. Mayungo says the handover of agriculture equipment worth over 163 million kwacha to over 554 small-scale farmers and cooperatives across the country reflects President Hichilema's confidence in the ability to contribute to the enhancement of the agriculture sector and the country's economic development. Danzanga Mumba has the rest of the details.
The handover of various equipment to cooperatives across the country by the Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission, CEEC, is evidence that President Hakainde Hichilema's vision of fostering agriculture production among small-scale farmers is slowly being actualized. The empowerments come as a game changer for small-scale farmers, as this will boost their production capacity amid the many challenges they are facing.
Technology in there. Of course the capital, but technology is being part of it. In that sense, to increase productivity, so we can move to 5, 6, 7, 10 tons per hectare.
Sikongo Member of Parliament Frank Mayungo witnessed the handover of 4 tractors to residents of his constituency and highlighted the benefits of the empowerment to the area.
I think I'm very excited. Excited in the sense that we are also beneficiaries of 4 tractors, which I think will go a long way in boosting our agricultural production in as far as rice and wheat production is concerned.
We are funding a rice value chain in Skongo. We are funding 4 cooperatives with a total membership of 700 cooperators. And we are funding them a total of 12 million kwacha.
And members of Kamangango Cooperative of Mkeyema District in Western Province are grateful for the initiative.
We would like to thank the government for giving us this opportunity so that it can help us in our area. Being a rural area, we are funding programs.
We are getting loans from CEC and they are not paying back. It's very, very unfortunate because they are not doing well. Because when they are paying back, then other people will benefit.
Obed Kayaya of Kafue, who is differently abled and the recipient of a tractor, had this to say.
Being a person living with disability, I'm very excited to have been one of the beneficiaries for a tractor, which will enable my family and my life, even my friends, even my neighbors, to benefit from this. So I'm encouraging all my friends that are physically disabled. They are free to apply.
The handover of the equipment follows President Hakainde Hichilema's directive to CEEC to provide empowerments to small-scale farmers amid the drought challenges. Ntazanga Mumba for Zanis in Lusaka.
Now, over 1,800 farmers in Chingola district on the Copperbelt province are set to benefit from the emergency component of the Food Security Pack program aimed at mitigating the negative effects of the drought situation in the country. The program is being implemented countrywide under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services with technical support from the Ministry of Agriculture. Here are the details.
The need to ensure food security both at household and community levels in order to mitigate the effects of the drought situation in the country calls for community and stakeholder involvement, especially farmers. It is for this reason that the Department of Community Development under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services in Chingola, with technical support from the Ministry of Agriculture, is training local farmers in best agronomical practices under an emergency component of the Food Security Pack program.
We have 1,800 beneficiaries who are on emergency cash transfer as our beneficiaries under Food Security Pack program. So right now we are training them in agronomic best practices. That's why we are here in the field training them with the agricultural crops officer and the camp officers, together with the officers from Department of Community Development and Zanis at large.
We are carrying out training programs to train farmers on how they can go about growing crops in winter, and especially those farmers who have wetland. The government, through the Ministry of Community Development, is targeting farmers who have wetlands so that they can produce the crops that have been identified with this community. Like here in Chingola, We are training farmers in winter maize production, butternut production, okra, onion, and cabbage production.
The development has elated most vulnerable but viable local farmers.
Training, we are also happy because we have been trained how to plant maize, how also to plant the butternut, and how also to cultivate the okra. We have been taught how the spacing of maize, the spacing of butternut, the spacing of okra.
At the end of the day, there will be food in our homes, and we further as we waiting for the rainfall to come. Let's have food in our homes. So thanks to the ministry and of course, above all, thanks to our President HH, carry on to this program there.
With such initiatives by government to cushion the effects of the drought situation in the country, food security is expected to improve both at household and community levels. I'm Ian Chomba, reporting for Zanis in Chingola.
Thank you, Ian, for that report from Chingola. Now, Luampa District Commissioner Alfred Mandumbwa, who has disclosed that a total of 14,984 households are earmarked to benefit from the Emergency Response Cash Transfer Program being implemented by the Department of Social Welfare in the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. Mr. Mandumbwa says out of the number 8,589 are already receiving regular social cash transfer funds and will now receive an additional 400 kwacha bi-monthly for able-bodied individuals, while people living with disability will receive 800 kwacha. The District Commissioner disclosed this in an interview with Zambia News and Information Services in Luampa today. He added that the 6,395 households that were recently enumerated consisted of pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and elderly disabled individuals. The chronically ill and other vulnerable groups will also receive 400 kwacha each per household. Mr. Mandumbwa expressed gratitude for the initiative by the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, while emphasizing the importance of the program in assisting those affected by the drought in the district. Now, Chief Chikomeni of the Chewa people of Lumezi district has observed the need to adequately enforce child rights protection laws in the country, and District Commissioner Lufeo Ngoma says the government has put in place several measures to address issues affecting children's rights, such as the enactment of the Children's Code Act. Here are the details.
Lumezi district in Eastern Province could not be left out in commemorating the Day of an African Child under the theme, Education for All Children in Africa. The time is now. And children turned up for their day, which is normally held on the 16th of June annually.
It may seem impossible if the following issues are not addressed. Lack of dormitories, lack of enough classrooms, sanitary issue, lighting system, early marriages. We have that our able DC, council chairperson, the chief and other stakeholders will not let us down on such serious issue.
The Day of an African Child serves as a reminder of the need to promote the rights and well-being of all children in Africa. Lumezi District Commissioner Lufeo Ngoma, who officiated the event, said government has put in place measures to address issues that undermine children's rights, such as the Children's Code Act, the re-entry and free education policies.
Government has also considered to promote the right to education among girl children. In this vein, keeping girls in school is an intervention which is assisting girls from needy homes to progress in their education. Furthermore, the re-entry policy that allows our children to continue education even after Elena falls pregnant.
And Chief Chikomeni of the Chiwa-speaking people in Lomezi district says they have established the Child Protection Committee to effectively respond to challenges affecting children in the area.
In fact, education has got its own challenges that needs to be addressed by every one of us. These challenges faced by our children hinder progress from them to access quality education. These challenges are poverty, teenage pregnancy, hunger, health care, and also failing to implement children's rights to education.
Patrick Soko, Zanis News, Lomezi District, Eastern Province.
As we end Zanis News, a recap of the top stories. Information Minister says government is committed to supporting public service workers. Solar plants to be installed across the country to boost energy sector. Secretary to the Cabinet calls for effective leadership in implementing decentralization policy. Plus, Ministry of Health records drop in routine child immunization. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Juliet Mteresing. Bye-bye.